The Fosters has officially come to a close and set up for the spin-off Good Trouble. So let's break it down one last time right here on What Happened. What's going on, everyone? Lisa here, and it is a bitter day for this episode of What Happened. This is my last recap for The Fosters, and I'm honestly going to try to stay composed. If you've been a fan of my channel for a while, then you know I've been right there interviewing the cast of this show since day one. It was one of my favorite sets to always go to because everyone was so sweet, and I actually just really loved this show, and I'm excited to see where everyone goes from there, or from here, but that's why I kind of have a real attachment to this show, because I've watched this cast grow up before my eyes for the past 5 years. Now, as a finale, I think this was actually a pretty good one. Sometimes finales just stink, and even when they do these special episodes, they try to do too much. I think this final episode was actually a really good one. Now, sure, there were probably some questions you had that weren't answered, and it wasn't one of those finales where they decided to shove every person who's ever been on the show back in. It was just simple, dramatic, satisfying, and for me, beautiful. I think the only main question, unanswered question I probably have is, where exactly did AJ go? Did he not get adopted by Mike? Did he go live with his brother? Did I miss something there? I feel like last we heard he was gonna go live with his brother, but then he just vanished. But other than that, these finale episodes saw a 5-year time jump, so you can basically imagine that all the past characters you've seen have gone on, grown up, gone off with their own lives. Now, I won't lie, I did tear up quite a few times during this finale. I mean, okay, so I didn't use all of these, but you get the point, right? I'm sure some of you had to bust out some Kleenex for this thing. And one of the reasons there were some tears is there are a ton of flashback montages, because it's the series finale. You gotta relive the moments that we had on the show, so we get to see the evolution of Brawley, the evolution of Steph and Lena, as well as the moms with the kids. But you know what scene really made me conjure up the most tears? It was towards the end of the episode with Jude, Callie, and Steph and Lena. Like, that scene just really brought it home for me and just had me like, ugh. It was like the core of really what the Fosters is, the whole family. Just very much an emotional episode. So let's just go ahead and start talking about this finale. And for those of you who just want to know right now whether the wedding happened or not, it indeed happened. So last episode left us with the cliffhanger of Callie walking to someone's door and Brandon getting up to answer his door. Well, I'm sorry, Brawley fans, but Callie ended up going to Jamie's door and Emma was at Brandon's door. Yes, Emma. Now at first I was like, WTF, what is she doing here? But then I realized that Brandon and Jesus were sharing a hotel room, so that's why she went to that specific room. Anyway, that is how the episode kicks off. Before I get to all their drama, though, let's talk about Steph and Lena, because they have quite the hilarious and embarrassing storyline this episode. They're sitting on the beach talking about how the kids are growing up so fast and if Lena should run for state assembly. Lena then tells Steph that she's decided to not run, but somewhere they are running to is into the ocean for a midnight skinny dipping session. And it is a cute, adorable love fest until one of the hotel workers obviously does not hear or see them in the water and picks up the robes. Yeah, and that is not a good sign. They end up naked till they find some big tree leaves, and then they end up finding some gross used towels. Since they have no ID on them, they can't get someone to open the door, so they have to go to the front desk to get a new key, and they're just hoping and praying it is early enough in the morning for no one to be in the lobby to notice them. Well, this is a TV show, and of course, for the best comedic effect, there is someone in the lobby who notices them, and of course, it's Jim and Diane, Eliza's parents. Yeah, I finally learned their first names in this episode. As for Jude, he ends up leaving Carter's room and going to hook up with some guy at the resort next door who he met on an app. As he's leaving Carter's room, though, he's spotted by Jim, and Jim does not look too happy. Now let's get back to Callie, Brandon, Mariana, and Jesus. When Callie knocks on Jamie's door asking if he's still up for a drink, he invites her in, but sadly, they are not alone.
If I think about you sometimes. Hey. Hey.
Yep, surprise, Mariana is there, and at first it's kind of like, huh? The three then share a drink, and of course it's as awkward as you imagine, and then Mariana gets a text from Brandon saying that he's looking for Jesus because Emma is there. Everyone then kind of goes into panic mode to find Jesus, who is in Jaden's room because he ended up having sex with her. While Mariana goes off to find Jesus, Kelly goes to Brandon's room to stall, and that's the scene in the promo that they tried to get you to think it was Kelly going to see Brandon to like discuss her feelings or whatever. It was just a red herring to throw you off. Completely different scene. Instead, Kelly is at the room because she's there to stall while Mariana goes to find Jesus, and that process is pretty hilarious.
Who is it?
It's my sister. Damn it, Mariana!
As soon as Jesus learns that Emma is there, though, he immediately has this look of regret on his face, and Mariana tells him to not tell Emma that he hooked up with Jaden because they were broken up at the time, and it'll just work out better for the relationship. She doesn't have to know. Kind of like how Jesus didn't want to know that Emma got that job offer in India, and he would have felt better not knowing. Emma and Jesus then have a talk, and she tells him that she does understand why he felt like he did, like she wasn't choosing him, but now she's choosing him, and she flew to Turks and Caicos to say that she loves him, he's her soulmate, and wants to be with him forever. It's a really actually beautiful speech, and Jesus, he is pretty quiet though. He still has that guilt look on his face, and all he answers is, "I love you too." Mariana then leaves Brandon and Kelly alone, and Kelly asks Brandon if he's talked to Eliza yet about how he's feeling, and he says he just doesn't know what to say. Kelly advises him that he really needs to talk to Eliza before he does something to hurt her that he can't take back. And Kelly has actually seen the way that Brandon looks at Eliza, and she knows that look, and she knows for sure that Brandon is in love with Eliza. Kelly just keeps encouraging Brandon to talk to Eliza. They hug it out, and she leaves, and of course, watching from the sliding glass door is Eliza, who of course has the wrong idea about the whole situation and brings up Kelly and Brandon's relationship and asks if that's the reason he doesn't want to get married. Brandon insists that Kelly has nothing to do with how he's feeling, but you know what? The boy still can't answer Eliza when she asks why he's having cold feet and if they're going to get married. So she ends up leaving the room devastated, so Brandon heads to the beach to clear his head. As he's sitting there, he feels a hand on his shoulder, and it is none other than good old dad Mike, who has just arrived for either the impending wedding or the impending disaster. And I'm kind of sad that he only has this one short scene, and then we see him like walk someone down an aisle. That's it. I would have loved to see more Mike. Anyway, Brandon opens up to Mike about his fears and feeling the pressure of having to get a real job and make money and impress Eliza's family and all of this. Mike just tells Brandon that the only person that can keep you from achieving what you want is you. And if Brandon can't trust himself enough to stand up to Eliza and her parents, then maybe he's not mature enough to get married. You can see Brandon really does love Eliza though, as he says he doesn't want to lose her, and Mike just says that if he can't also choose himself, they may have to call this wedding off. Well, good old dad's pep talk works, and Brandon goes to Eliza's door, and you know what, girl? It's in rough shape because she has been crying all night long, and I kind of don't blame her. The two of them talk, and he grabs her hand, and they march right up to the parents and slam that prenup on the table, which he actually has signed, but Brandon ends up laying down the law. He says he doesn't want the condo, he wants to buy his own place, he's going to work his ass off as a film composer, prove them all wrong, but he knows that it's going to take some time, so they just need to have faith in him, and he's going to sign this prenup if it'll earn their trust. Yep, Brandon grew a pair of balls, and then it's time for Eliza to grow her pair as she finally takes a stand and tells her parents that Steph and Lena are officiating the wedding, the bridesmaids are not wearing those uptight dresses, and then she has one last thing to say, or do.
Eliza.
I trust Brandon. And if you guys don't, then you can take me out of the will.
Yes, you go, Eliza. I've been waiting for this since I first met your parents. Tell them who is boss. It may have taken 3 episodes for you to kind of get me to like you, but we've seen growth in you. We actually do see some growth in the parents too. And I love that all Jim and Diane can do is just kind of look at each other dumbfounded, but I also feel like there's this sense of, being proud in their eyes of seeing Eliza stand up to them. The wedding is officially on still. I was gonna say back on, but it never was off, so it's officially still on. The night before the wedding, Mariana and Callie also have a little fight as Callie asks Mariana if she told Brandon about Brawley. Mariana says she would never, but Callie just keeps grilling Mariana and questioning her, so much so that Mariana's just like, forget this, I'm going to sleep on the couch. Also, the reason that Mariana was in Jamie's room was because she was tempted to go back to Matt's room, but then ran into Jamie. And she asked Jamie to help her out and not let her do something stupid with Matt, so she went in his room to have a drink and talk. But Mariana's all for Callie hooking up with Jamie. Also, just like Jude said that he and Callie have drifted apart and don't confide in each other anymore, it also seems like Callie and Mariana have had that rift too. So that is all the pre-wedding drama. Now we get our really beautiful wedding ceremony. It's super small, everyone looks perfect, and we do get Callie and Brandon glancing at each other, which cues up this whole Brawley montage that brings all of the feels. Now, Emma is holding the phone with Corey on FaceTime, so he, of course, can be part of this wedding, too. Steph and Lena then start reading a poem that they think summarizes love and family, and we get more flashbacks of Steph and Lena's journey on the show, and then flashbacks of them with all the different kids, and yeah, now I'm guessing by now you're on your second box of Kleenex, maybe? No? Moving on to the reception. Jude asks Carter if he's okay because he seems a little off, and Carter says his dad was not too happy about seeing Jude leaving his room and freaked out. Carter then says he doesn't have a family like Jude's, so he can't be whatever he wants to be or whoever he wants to be. I know it's probably tough, but I think Carter should maybe take a cue from Eliza and maybe stand up to his parents, because by the end of the episode, his parents are actually making some progress. Maybe not towards accepting a gay son, but some progress in the right direction. Then again, maybe Carter shouldn't quite tell them yet, but he really should just, he's an adult, he's in college, you know what, he can do what he wants, right? Now I say his parents are making progress because Jim and Diane first asks Steph about her back tattoo, and we get that sweet backstory and how it's a family tree. Then Jim asks Lena what her platform or agenda is going to be if she's running for state assembly, and she tells him, but then she says she's actually not running. Jim and Diane then surprise the crap, not only out of Steph and Lena, but I think out of the entire audience, when they say that if she changes her mind, they actually know some Democratic donors who might hold a fundraiser for her. See, while their views may not be the same, there is some support there. You can, respect someone else's platform and show support in whatever way you can while still holding on to your beliefs without, cutting someone down. And it's nice to see that this family has slowly made just maybe a centimeter of progress in the right direction, right? I still have a feeling like their get-together, their, family dinners are going to be super awkward when they're together, but maybe less awkward than they would have been if this had not happened. What else? We also have Callie finding Mariana and apologizing for accusing her of snitching to Eliza. Mariana says she knows she hasn't been the best at keeping secrets, and it's like, no Sherlock, but she's grown up now. And okay, so maybe Mariana has grown up some, but not in all departments. I mean, when it comes to boys, not so much. She then starts thinking of going on tour with Matt in Europe, and she is so hung up on him being her first love and that they're destined to be together, and she thinks that if she waits too long to get back with Matt, it'll just be too late. She then heads off to find Matt, and well, unfortunately finds Matt making out with Ashley, the bridesmaid, in the stairwell. So it looks like Matt wasn't that into Mariana and just wanted some nookie. I don't really know how I feel about them all of a sudden making Matt such a jerk, because I really did like Matt, but I guess we had to have some kind of kick in the butt for Mariana to be like, okay, I can be independent now. I can move on from, this high school drama and this first love and go adventure out into the new land. And it's like, don't worry, Mariana, he may be your first love, but he is not your great love. After clearing the air with Mariana, Callie tries to sort of do the same thing with Jude, but not really. She asks Jude if he hooked up with Carter, and Jude says, no, but I hooked up with some other guy that I found on this app. Jude says that he feels sorry for Carter having hit on girls to compensate for being in the closet, to which Callie asks Jude what on earth he's compensating for hooking up with all these random dudes. Touché, right? Well, it's brought up that Jude at least has a family to talk to, but then Jude says that he doesn't want to talk and just says that he's fine. Jamie then finds Callie and brings her a drink. We learn that Callie got the clerkship she wanted with Judge Engelman, but it's in San Francisco. Now, Jamie, of course, tries to plead the case for her to take the job in LA with that other judge, and how being a progressive influence on a conservative judge could be a more fulfilling job, and how if she chooses LA, she'll already have a friend. Or maybe more than a friend, as she finally makes a move and kisses him. As for Jesus and Emma, their ending is a bit more heartbreaking, and by a bit, I kind of mean a lot. Jaden, of course, confronts Jesus about having a girlfriend, which he technically didn't have at the time. He then tells Emma it didn't mean anything with Jaden, and he's sorry, and it was just weird with her, but Emma says she gets it. She then makes a really tough decision. She says they've been together since they were around 15, 16. They don't know what it's like to be with anyone else, so maybe they actually do need time apart with other people to figure out what they want. Now, even though this decision is truly heartbreaking and neither truly want it, she says they need to figure out who they are without each other, and if they are meant to be, they will find their way back to each other. Are you on box 3 of Kleenex yet? Now it's time to pack up and head home. And when our family returns home, Mariana and Jesus actually make amends, and she says they should actually be the ones to go backpacking in Europe together. I honestly would love to see a web series on that, because the dynamic of these two in Europe, living in hostels or whatever they'd be doing, I feel like it would just be kind of funny to watch. When Jude goes up to his room, he finds Corey asleep in his bed because Corey took the bus to their house and no one knows that he's there. His mom actually wants him back, and he's just so confused on what to do because he also really loves Steph and Lena, and they end up telling him that the decision is up to him and whatever he chooses is okay. He actually ends up choosing to go back with his mother, but Steph and Lena promise to always be a part of his life if they'll let him, and he of course says yes. Now, overhearing their talk prompts Jude to finally open up about his struggles to Steph and Lena. He goes to talk to the moms, and Callie also happens to walk by and stays. Jude says that he's failing 2 classes and he thought he was ready to go away to school, and he really wanted to prove so hard that he was okay and he was up for this challenge. But he just ended up feeling so lost, and with everyone else having a lot of other things going on in their own personal lives, he didn't want to bug them with his own problems, so he found other ways to try to not feel lost, which include hooking up with a lot of random guys. Yeah, he thought he could handle things on his own, but he really couldn't, and he says he really misses everyone being at home together. Lena then comforts him and said that they just now have to work harder to keep in touch with each other, and they are so sorry for not realizing how much Jude was struggling. And then they thank him for finally sharing his struggles. And Callie and Jude then crawl into bed between Steph and Lena, and there goes boxes 4, 5, and 6 of my Kleenex. We then flash forward a few months to after Brandon and Eliza's honeymoon, and the Addams foster family is back together and planning to take Corey to Disneyland. It was first just going to be the moms, but now it seems like it's going to be a family affair. Callie indeed took the job in LA to be closer to Jude, not Jamie, to be closer to Jude, and at first this seems to upset Mariana, who took a job in Silicon Valley to be near Callie. Callie then points out, though, that Mariana got multiple job offers with some in LA, and that if she comes to LA, they could be roomies, and that, of course, cues up for the spinoff Good Trouble coming in 2019. I'm also guessing since they're going LA, we might get some more of Jamie in the spinoff, which I like Bo Murchoff. I actually kind of like this Jamie character, so I'm all for it. But also seeing Callie and Jamie date, to me, just feels weird. I think they'd be great friends, and it's a fun bantering dynamic between the two. But if they dated, wouldn't that just make family functions weird, since Callie would be dating Brandon's brother-in-law, and there's already kind of awkwardness? I don't know, that's a whole tangled web that I don't know if I can fully think about right now. Now, the real reason the family got back together for dinner was because they all wanted to tell Lena that they are supporting her to run for state assembly and that she really needs to. Steph even admits that she wasn't so sure about Lena running until that talk with Jim and Diane in Turks and Caicos, and she saw how supportive they actually could be and were. So that means that it's time for the family to sell the house, pack up, and move. Before selling the house, we get one last Brandon and Callie moment as Callie jokes about Eliza probably being thrilled that she's moving to LA too. Brandon actually says that Eliza's all good with Callie now, and that the two of them, Brandon and Callie, made the right choice choosing their family over each other. Because if they had actually chosen each other, who knows what would have happened. The romance probably could have fizzled out, and then they wouldn't be in each other's lives. So at least now they're family, and they'll always have each other, and they'll always be each other's best friend. The episode then ends with another short time jump as Lena and Steph say goodbye to Frankie's tree, and they take one last photo in front of the house that they just sold, and then everyone drives off into their own separate directions to begin their new journeys. And with that, my friends, The Fosters has sadly come to an end. And like I said before, I'm actually really happy with this finale because everyone ends on a happy note and is starting a brand new discovery, new journey. I mean, sure, Emma and Jesus, their breakup was not that happy, but think about it. Jesus is doing a lot better with his TBI, and he's ready to go start a new business and just kind of explore the world, and I love seeing how far he has come as well. And also, like I said, I'm sure there are plenty of characters we would have liked to have known what happened to in this finale, but like I said, they didn't shove it in our faces to try to fan service every single person and every single character we've had in an episode, because that's happened on some other series finales, and then it just gets too cluttered and just too over the top. The only character I think we did get a mention of in these 3 episodes was Noah, who we learned went off to Syracuse and ended up getting another boyfriend. So it seems like we're just going to have to kind of wonder in our imaginations what happened to characters like Him and Poppy, AJ, Sophia, Daphne, and others. But who knows who might pop up in the spinoff, right? I mean, Sophia is Callie's sister, so who knows? She could maybe come visit her in LA at some point. But now it is your turn. Let me know what you thought about the series finale of The Fosters. Are you happy with where the characters ended up? And what do you hope to see in the spinoff with Callie and Mariana? Are there any questions that are unanswered that you're still curious about? Plus, what has been your favorite moment from The Fosters, and maybe how has this show even impacted you? So many questions, I know, but I love hearing all of your thoughts, so hit up the comments and just type away, guys. Let's just pretend The Fosters didn't end and we can just live it still in the comments, right? Then be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, because you know that when Good Trouble finally comes out, I will be right here in the same chair recapping it. Okay, maybe not the same chair, maybe I'll get a new one by then, but I will still be recapping that show, and I recap other shows and talk about other things as well. Thank you guys for going on this long 5-year journey of The Fosters with me. See you again soon.